Hey Ron, it is me. I am from Japan right now, and I was more going to focus on Worlds this week, but there's just been some event. There was one event that was pretty crazy, which was the this Vangasai, this spring Vangasai thing, and this was a format under the new 50 card rule, as well as running the energy generator. And that's, as you know, like we only get the 50 cards on the energy generator yet, but it does mean that these results are pretty significant in a way. So we're going to take a look at them and then, you know, jump back to Worlds, because these next few weeks are just going to be absolutely crazy. Right, this weekend we got the Worlds, then also we have DF's Vanguard Invitational, World Invitational, which you'll see a bunch of players around the world competing. So you guys, if you're in Japan, you know, you can watch that, or you know, if you're not in Japan, there's always the vlogs, the VODs or whatever available to you on the DF will reveal it soon, but you'll be able to watch it. Yeah, and then after that, the week after that, we got the Fated Clash, you know, booster pack, which is pretty huge, right? I think it's going to change the game quite a lot. So let's jump into it. Let's start off with Trio. This happened on the second day. As you can see, you know, the main deck so far. I can give you some like first-hand information because I'm here. I also played, also topped 8, right? Just saying. But yeah, first-hand information of what's going on the meta. Right now, you look at most decks are running things like Luard and Shiranui. Of course, top 2 decks, in my opinion, in the meta. Also, you might see this guy running a Chronojet deck, but overall Stride decks are now really, really strong because having the generator means you get the extra draw, and it just means your hand size just balloons to infinity. It's actually very, when you're not a Stride deck, you're looking at these Stride decks, they get the going second. They get to choose to go second, by the way, because when you win the dice roll now, they go, oh, I win, I'm going to go second. So I get an extra draw for going second. I get the draw from the crest, and then on my turn 3, I get another draw. So you get 3 cards, and then after that, it kind of tithes them to the middle late game, and then they can just absolutely smash, right? So overall, Stride decks are very strong. Their cards are also very strong too, like Shiranui. Very easy to play. So all these decks are basically running that plus a third deck, and the third deck can be anything, right? So the one exception is number two here, which isn't running the Luard, but it is running like Bastion, who is kind of pretty decent against like the Shiranuis, and then, you know, Prism, right? Really bad matchup for Shiranui, I should say. It's just kind of, it feels like it's unplayable. And then yeah, you know, Jiva got a hyper upgrade. But then onto like other lists here, you know, Mephonica is still good into a meta where it's just all Shiranui. Really unsurprising. This is kind of getting to the maybe I think this is probably where the diversity cards start, because this is where like none of these decks are in top cut. But yeah, overall that is kind of the situation. You can see just the Shiranui and Luards totally started dropping off into like here, where we're starting to see them back again. Kontol, right? Kontol in Indonesia, but yeah, they've got Aaron. They've got, the team is back, right? The Luard Shiranui team is back, starting from 11th, 10th place onwards, I guess. And then we see the 2+1 kind of lineup. So overall, that's pretty cool, right? I'm not going to be showing every single deck, by the way. I will show some interesting decks. But yeah, this is the first place team, and then they brought a Shiranui. This Shiranui is pretty standard now. I see a lot of people asking, why are people running Izayoi? All right, unfortunately, you know, the screen is a bit messed up on because the deck log in Twitter doesn't match. But yeah, why are people running is a Sao, not Izayoi? But this card only works on grade 2, but since you're going to be grade 2 gaming every single Stride deck, and Shiranui has the best grade 2 game cards in every single Stride deck, that you just run this and you automatically win the grade 2 game. That's it. If you're not running this and you face another Shiranui mirror, you just can't play the grade 2 game against it. So overall, you can just play the grade 2 game. You can kind of just keep on going until like someone draws an ladder, and then you can ride up, and you just get 2 turns of pummeling your opponent. Pretty interesting that they started to run this this energy. I guess it's not required. This came out like just the weekend, but I guess it's another energy outlet for you to use. You just get to energy blast 2 and get a 10k shield. So overall, otherwise the rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. 3 Shenry. Usually people run 4. I ran 3 because I borrowed DF's deck and he didn't have the 4th. So otherwise you'd run 4. It's just very, very good in the mirror. Then next we have is just the Mygo. I don't think much has changed with Mygo. You're just forced to run the normal Mygo stuff, and then they probably up more of the orders, and you can't run Bracing Angel Ladder in this deck because you have to run orders. You have to play an order every single turn, so Sucks to be you. But then they run some more Krychek cards, I think, to kind of make it more consistent. And then third is just the Bastion. So Bastion, this is Bastion. You just run 4 of it's the old list, but they ran 4 of the Cycler. And, you know, Forbital, I guess here the choice is between Forbital and Ladder, but since you already have built-in protection in your front row, you kind of already get, like, an extra turn. But I guess Ladder will still be good just to, you know, I guess you don't have a way to search for the Ladder, so it doesn't really confirm it. While Forbital is pretty much the only other Regulus piece that is still worth it right now, right? If you cannot run Ladder, it has to be a Forbital, or you just go back to the Ladder, because the Ladder is just, you know, so generic and so good that it's a wonder why you're not running it, right? So that's basically the first place team. Second place team, we can look here, the TT team. I think this is a pretty standard team too. So this is a Prism. The reason why Prism is so powerful, right, I think in this current metagame, is against Shiranui, they can basically bounce the whole board on Shiranui's first stride turn, which means they can't use the Shiranui first effect to, you know, call anything out, so they just can't do anything that turn. And then next turn they can play a Ladder, and then again Shiranui has 2 turns where they can't do anything, right? Because this just applies it to the player, and then yeah, done. You can't be targeted. How do they get a second stride turn Ladder so effectively? Is they just run Aura. They just run this, and this can search any order. So bam, first turn, bounce whole board, your opponent rides Mgatsu, whatever it is, the first stride, boom, nothing. Second turn, you play the order, bam. The next turn, they just can't do anything. They just sit there and cry, and then you just bash their face with like Persona Ride, a bunch of extra power, and then they just die, right? Not to mention your like pre-grade 2 game, I mean your pre-grade 3 game is also very strong. So pretty lame. I think this is probably one of Shinui's like worst matchups that you can play against. Maybe, well, since we don't have Morphonica, but I guess if you have Morphonica, that's also a really bad matchup. Next we have is, I think these will just be the same. So Shinui again, right? You pretty much the most standard list now. Run the Ladder. I think you should run Ladder and everything. And then Luard as well. So Luard, yeah, Ladder, Luard. This is also why, you know, 4 Serengol in Luard is very good. You play the grade 2 game, and you can kind of keep on digging until you see the Ladder for 1 turn, and you can buy that turn. And also why people run like 4 Serengol, 4 Painkiller. The problem with the Painkiller is that souls, and this deck doesn't really have a way to generate soul, unlike what you say, Shinui, where it's all around Counterblast, and when you play grade 2 game, you naturally gain Counterblast. And it also builds soul by itself, right? Because that's Shinui. So that's why, yeah, Shinui is just like the better grade 2 game for sure. Like that's it. Then moving on, third place we have just a Shinui list, right? Shinui list, pretty standard. And then next is Jiva. So Jiva is kind of one of the secret dogs, right? Secret, how to call it, like underrated decks, I think, in this format. I know everyone laughs at Jiva, but they got the new PR here. So this card is actually just insane for like Nirvana and Bavsagra. So if you have, you know, Nirvana or Bavsagra Vanguard, put into your soul, and then you pick a card with Overdress. Is it Cross Overdress? Overdress or Cross Overdress, and then you add it to your hand. It's just straight up plus, build soul, everything that you need. And then when it's in the drop zone, outside the battle phase, if your Trick Moon or Trick Star gets called to the Regard Circle by your Vanguard's effects, and you don't have a card with the same name on the board, right? You just call it to the Regard Circle. So bam, you call this, build a boost, and it's free. It's like literally free, double free cards. It's really good. You have triple drive, which is good. You have kind of early game aggression, which is nice. You have the generator now that you can kind of use to kind of go through more cards again. And then, you know, you have the ladder. You don't really play orders. You can ladder up, and then you can go through a deck as well. So you go through a deck, thin it out, and then you can have more ways to kind of, hopefully you draw a ladder and you build a turn. But then you also have cards like, which will gain like resist. So again, on the first Shiranui turn, you can rush, build a board, and then they can't do anything about it, right? They just they can't, right, target your stuff, and then you can continue going on and winning from there, right? So pretty cool. I think Jiva is pretty underrated now that it's got a bunch of support. And then Hiara is just a Luard, another Luard. Yeah, pretty cool. And then fourth place, so is it new generation. So Luad, all right. I'll kind of speed through Shamo. So Shamo, we can play it now, right? Play it now. You can kind of, again, because you're a lyrical, you can do the aura into ladder play. We don't have that play now, but in the future we will once we have that. I think all lyrical decks basically just get pretty good buffs. And then lastly, we got the Shiranui list again. So moving on, let's move on to the first day, which had just single player tournaments, right? And this is just, you know, no more trios. We can kind of assess how good the decks are based on, you know, just not single limit, it's just like, you know, singly play it, right? You're not limited by having to bring 3 decks. So this was Swiss. This was separated into 3 blocks, right? And I was in block A, so this is my block. My block was actually pretty funny. If you look at the top cut, right, after Swiss, it was like first place was like Leonorn, and then Luad and Youthberg, and then a Morphonica. And then after that, you'll see that there's a Mygo and a Takto, not this is Takto, but then there's a Prism, right? A Prism. So top 6 was where the cutoff was for undefeated. So you can see there's no Shiranui here, and this will basically show you why diversity cut is bad. No Shiranui, but there were so many Shiranui players in top cut that now here they all are, right? We had Shiranui in 7th, 8th. Then we had the training tools and Aurora. Then we had me, right? Kai Chung, Sun, all right? Another Shiranui, and then another Shiranui. So this is only in 12th already. And then another one. So 5 Shiranuis made it due to diversity cut. And then a Shamo, we had a Bastion and a not drag driver, Drew Jewel. Now, I'm going to go out and say that even though here it says that I'm 11th, right, and I made it into diversity cut, I would have made it in even if there was no diversity cut. I think my ranking was actually 15th. Because I went 4-1. So I would have made it in without diversity cut. But yeah, because there was diversity cut, all the Shiranuis get in. Yeah, but then I died. So I died in top 16 and didn't get a mat. So I just feel really bad. Yeah, but yeah, this is why diversity cut kind of jank, right? Kind of jank. Anyway, let's move on. So the first place was Hero. I did well, big name too. And then they brought Luad. So Luad, pretty strong. This one was not running a ladder, which actually surprised me. I thought like Luad, just pop in a ladder and your life is better. But yeah, no ladder. So I'm kind of interested to see how it'll just be a playstyle way, right? What was your playstyle in fighting Shiranuis, for example? Because if you're not relying on a ladder, ladders, you don't rely on a ladder, but it's good to have. But if you don't take it, there's obviously that spot is obviously better used for something else that you need. So I'm just curious how it's just the play style against Shiranui, how you do it, right? And then a Mygo, right, pretty straightforward. And after that there was this Prism. So I played this Prism in top 16, and this is the pure reason why I lose. Is just the matchup is pretty unfavorable. Nothing can do. If they hit Volshabans early, it's even worse. But again, the first turn of my stride, bounce everything. Second turn, play the ladder because it's searchable by aura. The only real way to kind of counter this is you guard the Vanguard every single turn. But honestly, that's a pretty weak strat, right? You just guard the Vanguard every turn and they'll never get their on hit. It is not easy to guard the Vanguard, which is why a lot of times you PG or no guard the Vanguard, right? But yeah, it is what it is. But it just couldn't play. But it's just a very strong deck and nothing you can do, right? And then lastly, we do have the Raw. So this Raw is kind of interesting. There was some Raw builds like popping up. You'll see later as well. I'm just wondering, like, what is the play, right? Is it just diversity cut? I assume half of it is diversity cut. There's the new PR here that makes Raw slightly better, right? Makes it more consistent. Is it because energy now lets you kind of go through more cards to make it more consistent too? I'm just pretty curious, right? Even things like Magnolia Masks were getting played a lot because they got that new PR that makes the deck pretty tanky and pretty strong. So it's pretty cool to see. But yeah, this is one of the new builds that seem to have popped up in Japan, right? And it's not like randos are bringing it. I think some big, like, well-named people are bringing it through. So it's maybe something to look out for, right? Then next we have is the this is kind of the B block. I'm starting at the end now because I saw some pretty spicy stuff. right? So Letitia's not as spicy, but we got the new, is it Moraine, right? This is basically the quick start deck, you know, grade 3. So we'll kind of go through that. That's something on my, you know, my eye. Has some Amir Gruzios, right? And then Jiva again popping up. B block was pretty crazy. A Fennel. I'm not gonna look at Fennel, right? Just sorry guys, not looking at Fennel. But Shamo, and then I think 6th place was probably where the cut was again. And then here is actually no. It could be like 8th place. Yeah, could be 8th place. Probably 8th place. Because then the Amir Gruzios cut again. But yeah, then 1st place was pretty meta. You have the Shunui and then Double Award, but also Richter, right? Avantgardia. So yeah, the winner came out to be Gen. So congrats there, another big name. And then after that, yeah, Luard again 1st place. So remember when people were saying, is Luard better or is Shunui better? Luard doesn't have an auto lose matchup. Shunui actually does. I think Shunui actually has 2 auto lose matchups. So, so they'll just come down to Shunui is a strong deck, but it has auto lose matchups. Luard is also a strong deck, probably a bit weaker than Shunui, and also a bit harder to play. But Luard doesn't have auto lose matchups, so you have to probably think that way, right? The next was this Lutetia list. So this actually came, I think, 3rd place. I skipped out on like I think second place was like probably Migro. I probably skipped that. But Lutetia with 50 cards is actually pretty cool. It got some new card support, but also has the new book support, right? The new cursed order, the cursed play, right? So now you can run like 12 of these books, and with 50 cards, it actually just kind of slides in perfectly. So I think you can't really underestimate Lutetia again, right? I feel like it's kind of come back into the picture. Maybe it's on the top tier deck, but it's still like, you know, at least probably tier 2. And it can be pretty scary, right? It's just the restanding Vanguard, but restanding Vanguards work for a reason, but also Reguards hit really big. And then after that, we also have this, yeah, so this was like 4th place, Avantgarda, right? Avantgarda with 50 cards. Ride deck is pretty much the same. It's kind of, not really much to say here. Like, it's a Richter deck, and then you find what 4 cards you want to jam in. Do you want to jam in more orders? I don't really think they did though, right? This order lineup just seems pretty lean. But then what about the rear guards? Okay, let's put some habitats, some of the Dragon Tree Wretch just there. So yeah, pretty cool. Nice showing to see Avantgarda making like top 4. And here we have the opening goods. So this is where, you know, the diversity card starts. I mean, Gruzio, right? I guess they have some upgrades. I think, what was this? This was the Golem, right? The one that everyone laughed about. But hey, feet, Golem, and and chuck in a carbuncle, and it works. No ladder though, unfortunately. And then here is just the Jiva. So this Jiva, one of the differences here is they just ran Trick Moon as one of the starters. Also punching in on the arcs, right? We're in arcs for the draws. So a lot of people back then were choosing between bills or arcs. So these were in arcs. They're running like 1 Bram Virina now, which is interesting. I guess with the extra slots, you just want to put 1 in. Only running 3 of the PR, which is fine, right? So yeah, pretty cool, right? Another Jiva top showing how good it is. And then after that, we have this one. So this is the Moraine. This is a very normal card. Can search Persona Ride, and then can do like a bounce and call, right? To do a multi-attack, right? With Energy Blast 4. Now, if you look at the rest of the deck, a lot of it is just pretty generic stuff. And I guess this just kind of shows how like a deck can work just with generic things. So your ride line is just your Willista ride line, because it's better than any of the old ride lines out there. You have the order plays, so the order cycler that will just kind of bounce, but also is a way for your counterblast outlets to kind of draw cards, right? And that's where it all goes. Then you have counter charges that also can build soul, so you have this little combo here. And then after that, you have Velshabans that will just give front row power, but also your early game will be able to, you know, draw more cards. And then Yuika to kind of bounce extra things, and then Aura to kind of do the order plays with the ladder, but you don't run too many of them. And then I don't know what is this. So if you played a normal order, you get plus 5k, and I guess it's just another way to just to add stuff to hand, right? But overall, like the overall point of this deck is just a very standard deck. You just have a bunch of good cards that do the same things. You have a confirmed order, Persona Ride order that kind of just works. And I think this one's just is this a power gainer? Oh no, it doesn't. I think it just makes something bounce. So yeah, so this, I think this searches for this order, and you can bounce things, and then just play a normal game where you just attack. Be very consistent. It'll be very consistent, I guess, just because, you know, everything is just very simple and straightforward. Nothing relies on other cards really to do anything. But kind of interested to see if like this will just, you know, people try this out with the other quick start deck cards. The quick start deck cards will be getting some more support in the booster packs, but yeah, if you want to do it now, you have a bunch of like generic cards in every single nation that you can probably throw something together. It won't be cheap though. These generic cards usually are pretty expensive. Yeah. And then after that, we do have C block. So C block. Now this is look at this top card, like Swiss. Shunui Lord kind of thing, very meta. And then here Morphonica, Charmeuse, wow, and then Bastion. I think after that is where, you know, diversity starts. So Leonorn, you know, Prison, Maelstrom, pretty crazy. Greedon, somehow a Greedon make it. Yeah, so pretty nice. And then the winner was Aomaru, yeah. And then he was playing Morphonica. So literally just like anti-meted everyone, you know, saw every Shunui and just beat them because it's free. We're playing a high, like decently high rarity one as well, so congrats there. Hopefully we get it. Otherwise, you know, Shunui is gonna be stronger, right? And then this is a Shunui deck running some of the grade 4s and also a Genkai. This one is kind of strange, right? This is one of the Genkais, and with ladder down there. But yeah, this grade 4, the Esperodia, will help you out in against ladders, right? So if they ladder you, at least you have a multi-attack. You're not going to be sitting there not doing anything. So there's that. It does mean you can usually cut down on like on some of the multi-attacks a bit more, but they didn't. So yeah, pretty interesting. And then after that, we have the Luard, right? Luard with the ladder. And then I think in 4th place was Greedon. So this Greedon came 4th place. A Greedon Mask one. This one should be updated, but I don't really see any of the new cards for it. Like set 13, I remember gave Greedon some new cards, but I don't think they're running. They're just running kind of a more standard build, I have to say, right? More standard build of Greedon that we've been seeing more often. And yeah, just kind of doing the old school mask play restand in go, right? So seems pretty good, right? And then lastly, the last two interesting decks, we have the Leonorn. So this is the pure Leonorn, right? Again, if you want to trick a different fight, pure Leonorn is better than Masked Leonorn. But yeah, it is, because they do have the PR, which they're running here, it just gives so much value to the deck that it's good, right? It's good. And then the last deck we're going to look at is just the Rowa again. So this was another one that we saw running kind of interesting order. They're running this Counterblast 1, draw a card, and then look at the top card, and then, you know, you can kind of put it on top or discard it. So I guess it can help trigger and kind of like, you know, push early game, right? If you kind of build off board early and try to stack triggers, you can push early and then kind of try to rush out your opponent. So overall, pretty interesting. Roller list, again, another one. We had another one seen before. So is there something going on? I remember Rio also posted, if you know Rio or not. Pretty famous Vanguard player, but they were also playing Roller, I think, on one of the days. So yeah, pretty interesting to see what's going on here. But that is it for me. A bunch of results. If you do want to see all the results, there are deck logs, right? Yeah, I only showed some of them, but all of these were posted with deck logs. So just make sure you use the JP deck log to take a look at these, and you can see whatever you want to see, right? That's it from me. I'll be posting more videos later, just probably more about Worlds, because I haven't really talked much about it. I'll see you all next time. All right, bye.